This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, Dunedin's port-to-port harbour ferry is saying no to unvaccinated passengers in a bid to keep children safe. As the high country fishing season opens, fish and game officers are counting the numbers in Greenstone River. And there's a special treat for young bookworms as a fourth title in the popular Wonky Donkey series hits shelves. Tēnā koutou katoa, kia ora, I'm Simon Anderson. A Dunedin harbour ferry is saying no to unvaccinated passengers. Skipper Rachel McGregor wants to take only vaccinated adults on the daily journeys as a way to help keep children safe from COVID-19.
Dunedin Wildlife Tours skipper and port-to-port operator Rachel McGregor is taking a stance. She's planning to only take passengers who are vaccinated. She says she's doing it to keep younger passengers safe, giving children the same safe environment as they get in schools.
Because I take a lot of children on board, and the schools soon will have it mandatory for teachers to be vaccinated, for me it doesn't really make sense then for them to, go on holiday and go and do activities where all of a sudden they're exposed to a whole lot of people that haven't been vaccinated. It just doesn't really make sense. It's inconsistent.
The business offers wildlife tours of the harbour as well as a daily ferry service between Port Chalmers and Portobello, which is popular with cyclists doing a loop of the harbour. McGregor admits that not all other tourism operators will necessarily follow her lead.
To me it makes sense to be, to take that stance. But I realise that people have their own opinions as well, so I guess I'm just doing what feels right for us.
McGregor wants to only take double vaccinated people, but she'll make allowances for those waiting for their second dose of the vaccine. She'll ask passengers to prove their vaccination status through the COVID app or a vaccination card. But until the official vaccination passport comes into place, the policy will be based on trust.
People seem to be pretty supportive so far, so especially families with children. I've got a young boy myself, so I personally would feel more comfortable visiting somewhere that has the same sort of policy as what we do.
A firm date is yet to be set on when New Zealand's vaccine passports will be issued or exactly how they'll operate. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Next year's Southern Field Days is the latest victim of COVID-19 related cancellations in the South. Organisers say it was an agonising decision to cancel the event scheduled for Waimumu in Southland next February. It's the first time in 40 years that the popular event has been cancelled. The decision was made early to allow the local community, exhibitors, volunteer groups and local businesses to plan ahead for other opportunities. The Southern Field Days Committee are aiming to bring the event back better than ever in February 2024. The high country fishing season opened today with 80,000 anglers set to take on the water this season. And ahead of the opening, fish and game officers surveyed more than 10 kilometres of the Greenstone River to count fish numbers.
A nice relaxing drift down the Greenstone River to survey the population.
Drift dive survey involves two people in the water swimming down the river together, and they're counting both rainbow trout and brown trout, medium sized and large fish. And then we've also got two people going along the edge of the river, and they are counting fish as well.
The divers and walkers swam and walked around 13 kilometres of the Greenstone River ahead of the high country fishing season opening, although there are more fish in the rivers than the team actually spot.
Clearly, divers see about 60% of the fish that are in the river, so those numbers we're giving are just an estimate, and there are more fish out there than what we're observing.
Otago Fish and Game Officer Ben Sowry is one of the men who snorkeled down the river counting fish. While they haven't seen huge numbers, the fish he and fellow diver Cohen Stewart spotted were great specimens.
The rainbow trout are in excellent condition, nice and fat. The brown trout numbers are even lower, however the ones that we have seen are very good fish. We've seen several which are trophy sized, above the old-fashioned 10-pound mark.
Drift dives in the greenstone began in 1987 and were repeated in the 90s and 2000s. The exercise showed encouraging signs for the future of trout in the area.
So we have seen quite a few spawning redds being the nest sites for the trout, where they dig a hole in the gravel, lay their eggs and then cover them back over with gravel.
Each year, around 80,000 anglers get a fishing licence in the South Island. The Fish and Game team counted 107 medium-sized and large rainbow and brown trout on 3 sections of the river. In central Otago, the South Today.
Visitors to Stewart Island were apparently so impressed, most of them say they want to visit the area again. More than 3,000 individuals or groups of tourists were surveyed early this year. Around 70% of those who travelled to the island had never been there before, but more than 90% thought they'd definitely return. The survey found a quarter of visitors to Rakiura were from Auckland, with less than 5% coming from the Southland region. A special treat for young bookworms hit the shelves over the weekend. The Wonky Donkey is an international bestseller inspiring songs, soft toys and sequels. And now there's a 4th member of the popular Kiwi family.
It's a series of New Zealand picture books that have proved popular around the world.
He was a wonky donkey, wonky donkey, wonky donkey, yeah.
The original Wonky Donkey book was released in 2009, but its popularity really exploded a decade later following a viral video featuring a hysterical Scottish grandmother trying to read the book to her family.
He's a stinky dinky lunky wonky donkey winky wonky donkey.
The original title sold more than 2 million copies, encouraging Queenstown-based author Craig Smith and illustrator Katz Cowley to create 2 sequels. And now a 4th instalment is being released.
Dinky Donkey came out in 2019 and 2020 was Granny Granny's turn, and this is the Wonky Donkey's Big Surprise turn.
The character inspired an award-winning song. Smith's donkey creation saw him touring all over the world until COVID curtailed those adventures.
So obviously the touring, live touring that is had to be cut down quite significantly over the last couple of years. I've still been able to do small bits from time to time, but I've been mainly doing shows for kids online and the Zoom concerts.
Last week, he gave his first live performance in months to a group of school children in Cromwell.
That was an absolute blast to go over and have some fun with the kids and see them singing, see them dancing, enjoying reading.
And he's written a new song to go with the Wonky Donkey's Big Surprise.
Today her daddy Wonky had promised her such a big surprise.
But as for what that big surprise is, Smith says you'll just have to read the book. In Queenstown, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, a very strange kind of bird wins this year's Bird of the Year, and we catch some dedicated Waitaki locals helping to keep a special beach beautiful. See you after the break.
Inside are all sorts of innovations from all over China.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
No mai anō, welcome back. Otago's favourite birds have missed out on the top spot in this year's Bird of the Year competition. The long-tailed bat was the surprising winner of this year's online vote. The bat, also known as the Peka Toroa, beat out the feathered and some might say deserving rivals with a commanding lead of 3,000 votes. Forest and Birds say bats are New Zealand's only native land mammals and are classed as nationally critical, threatened by pests like possums, stoats and cats. The popular kakapo took out the runner-up spot with the rifleman, or Titi Pounamu, claiming third place. A large group of volunteers scoured Campbell's Bay near Kakanui yesterday as part of a beach clean-up exercise. The beach is just one of many sites of interesting and remarkable geology in the Waitaki district.
A weekend beach trip with a positive purpose. More than 30 people joined in a beach clean-up yesterday at Kakanui's Campbell's Bay near Oamaru. The event was organised by Misha Dixon of the Waitaki Whitestone Geopark as a way of letting people know about the need to look after the beach.
Campbell's Bay is looked after by the Geopark, and so it is pretty clean, but I think this is all about creating awareness for the community.
The Geopark includes the unusual spherical boulders at Moiraki, as well as the giant elephant rock formations in the Waitaki Valley. The park's geologist, Sasha Morris, is keen to encourage volunteers to learn more about the area.
One of our philosophies is kaitiaki, or guardianship of our land. So we actually tell the story of the formation of our land through sites like this, and the significant geology that we have here.
Campbell's Bay has a range of different rocks, including volcanic ones from 34 million years ago, and a layer of hardened sea sediment pockmarked with holes created by creatures that lived millions of years ago.
It's a wonderful sight down here. You can see a really great sequence, and the little holes in it are actually from shrimp burrows. So when this was on the bottom of the sea floor a very, very long time ago. The
Geopark is hoping to organise more beach cleanups in the Waitaki area as the summer season warms up. In North Otago, the South Today.
Queenstown hockey and football teams have been given a new surface to play matches on. The new multi-sport turf in Frankton is equipped with lights and can be used in all-weather conditions.
Queenstown's long-awaited all-weather multi-sport turf is now open. Council Sport and Recreation boss Simon Battrick is predicting the venue will become an important asset for local sports groups.
Look, we're ecstatic about opening it. It's been a long time coming, and I know the sports are very keen to use it. We've got a lot of bookings for summer, and obviously next winter it will be heavily used as well.
Made from recycled rubber and with floodlights for use at night, the venue will mean that Wakatipu Hockey Club members will no longer have to travel to Cromwell for matches.
So you can pretty much play sort of regional level games on it and national level games, so it'll be really good from that perspective, and lots of different groups and users can actually use it, which is awesome.
The all-weather turf is set to be used by both hockey and football teams. In Queenstown, the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, the cycling tour of Southland gets underway and we check in on the early week's weather. Hae koko ake nei.
Inside are all sorts of innovations from all over China.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
What have you got? Okay. Chicks World, party time, excellent. Love it. Chicks World. Chicks World.
Hoki mai anō. The 65th tour of Southland has hit the road. The cycle race began yesterday in Invercargill and this afternoon two-time winner Michael Vink won stage 2 in Lumsden. But the popular event isn't all about the star riders.
The orange jerseys of the Share the Road team will be hard to miss on Southland's roads over the next week. The team's a firm fixture on the annual race. Southlander Matt Zenovich is back for his 9th tour after having his first child and keen to pass on his wisdom.
For me, it's more about teaching riders that probably haven't done it before how the tour works and a little bit about tactics, but it's also a way that you can sort of hang out with your mates in a slightly more professional way rather than just hanging out at the cafe.
Riding alongside him is someone who's back for their 15th year. Up until now, James Jubb's been sitting comfortably on the back of a motorbike as one of the tour's official photographers.
You know, a lot of people have asked, like, why go from photographing it sitting on this nice, comfy motorbike, you know, riding the Peloton, getting photos, to, you know, putting the effort in and struggling through and trying to ride it yourself.
He's nervous but looking forward to experiencing the Tour of Southland from a totally different perspective. The 40-year-old calls himself the granddad of the team, but hopes his race knowledge will come in handy.
Where there's crosswinds, where there's hills, where things have typically broken up in the past, where I've got to put an effort in, I've just got to kind of get the legs to wake up and, you know, get there.
Brian Cairns is also waking up the legs after 6 years off the bike. His entry somewhat of a summer dare.
And also a bit of a drunken bet over Christmas with my workplace that if they sponsor the team in the tour that I would partake, regretfully now.
The tour continues around Southland and into central Otago over 8 stages, finishing up on Saturday. In Invercargill, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. Dunedin's port-to-port harbour ferry is saying no to unvaccinated passengers in a bid to keep children safe. As the high country fishing season opens, fish and game officers are counting the numbers in the Greenstone River. And there's a special treat for young bookworms as the 4th title in a popular Wonky Donkey series hits shelves. And now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, we welcome Associate Editor Joe Simpson. Kia ora, Joe.
Hi. 4 prisoners assaulted 4 prison guards at the weekend at Otago Corrections Facility. A proposal to start a landfill near Dunedin Airport could hit turbulence unless there's a vigilant program to prevent bird strike.
Yep.
A 14-year-old Southern girl is the latest to get caught up in a Squid Game related TikTok viral challenge. And Sir Ian Taylor left New Zealand for a week of meetings in the US, after which he will be part of a government's home isolation trial.
Right.
And we also have your guide to the Marvin Cup.
Great, Joe. Thanks very much. And time now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with the southern view, Dunedin's Octagon at lunchtime. Looking at the situation, it will stay cold for a few days as a southwesterly airflow eases over the region, eventually dying out on Wednesday. But the North Island is ahead of the pack. Warmer weather here amongst variable conditions. Westport reaches 18 degrees on a fine day, still 16 in Greymouth, although showers are possible. Warm too over in the northeast. Nelson welcomes a sunny 19 degrees and Blenheim reaches 17, though it will be windy. Cooler as we travel down the Canterbury coast. Rain everywhere. Kaikoura reaching 13 and Christchurch and Ashburton 12 degrees. Looking at the southern towns, Catlins, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore can all look forward to decreasing southwesterlies with the weather becoming fine and a high of 12 degrees. Travelling westwards to the Central Lakes area, Wanaka, Queenstown and Alexandra are all in for moderate southeasterlies, with the weather becoming fine and a high of 11 or 12 degrees. Te Anau, though, can expect decreasing southwesterlies, the weather also becoming fine and a high of 11. Looking at the northern towns along the coast, Timaru and Oamaru can expect moderate southerlies, bringing showers and a high of about 12 or 13 degrees. Further inland, Twizel and Omarama will experience moderate southeasterlies with skies clearing, sharing a high of 13. In Dunedin, there will be showers tonight with cold southwesterlies and an overnight low of 8. There will be scattered light showers tomorrow morning, which will start clearing during the afternoon, but skies will remain cloudy and temperatures cold, with fresh, gusty southwest winds easing from evening, a high of 13 and a low of 6. And it'll be mostly cloudy on Wednesday, with cold southwesterlies dying out during the morning and cool northeasterlies developing during the afternoon. Cloud may break late in the day, a high of 14 and a low of 6 degrees. And in Invercargill, you can also expect showers tonight with gusty southwesterlies and an overnight low of 7. Showers will start clearing tomorrow, but it will remain mostly cloudy with cold southwesterlies easing slowly, a high of 12 and a low of 3. It'll become fine and sunny on Wednesday with light variable winds and the weather a little milder, a high of 15 and a low of 2 degrees. And that's the news this Monday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and you can follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe to be notified of that southern news as it happens. Nō reira, kia pai te pō, ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.